Let's talk about 5 players the Vikings could trade up for in the draft. All right, welcome back to the Onebar and Lupagus show. I'm Onebar with Lupagus. Yesterday, maybe 2 days ago, I don't know. We did a video on the players the Vikings could trade back and get. So today we're talking about players that could trade up, give up the house for, and go get.
Guys and players just have to have so much that they will give up picks to go up and get them. Before we talk about that, be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the vids. We're closing in on 9,200 subscribers. We want to get there so damn quick. So subscribe. It'll make you feel good.
Makes you feel good. And I think we both agree, like, you know, Vikings don't have very many draft picks. I don't think we really want them to trade up unless it's just for just a beautiful player. And these are some names that we just think that maybe they could.
Yeah, maybe they've already been tied to some of these names. Maybe it's just a guy who just fills a really big need for this team.
Yeah, and Kwesi, we've only seen one draft. We don't know. Everyone's just thinking, you already trade back. Maybe we'll trade back again. We don't know what to expect.
We don't know. A very small sample size.
All right, speaking of, you said sample size. I think you said fantasize. I'm fantasizing about this player in purple. It's Calijah Kancey. Calijah Kancey, who a month ago you'd be thinking, there's no way in hell you're trading up. You know, maybe we get him later. Maybe we trade in the round 2. He's hot. He is so hot. Hot name, hot to the touch, and he's fantastic, and he should be.
Yeah, he's one of the hottest names in the draft right now. Stock is definitely on the rise. The buzz is through the roof on this guy. Very explosive pass rusher. You can use him all over the place, inside, outside. Brian Flores would have a lot of fun with him. You see him as high as 6 to the Lions. You see him going to the Lions at, what do they have, 18? So a lot of teams that could actually go and take Calijah Kancey. So the Vikings want to move up a little bit to ensure they get their guy. Definitely an option.
Yeah, he's going to be one sexy rookie, too. He's going to get after the quarterback. That's what he did at Pitt. He's explosive. I mean, we all know about him. He's a penetrator. Unlike the Lupagus, he's a freaking penetrator. And, you know, I think the Jets are in the mix. I think a lot of these teams are in the mix. And I think a big reason why he's even going to go sooner is just the lack of elite talent at defensive line. People are just like, we need one. And he's the only premier guy. We got to have him.
Yep, absolutely. So you want a guy who can get to the passer from the inside. Kancey is your man, especially after the, Jalen Carter goes off the board.
Deep down, I still hope for some reason in hell he slides at 23.
It's still possible.
What a pick. All right, who else?
Let's see. Let's go with the cornerback. A cornerback who I know is number 1 on my cornerback board. Not maybe everybody's, but Devin Witherspoon, the corner from Illinois.
I think he's most everybody's. I think he's most. I mean,
Christian Gonzalez up there.
Yeah, I mean, he's the perfect corner for the Vikings. And I think you got to trade up into the top 10 to get this guy. He seems to be kind of all over the place in the mocks. I've even seen him falling to the Vikings, which I think is a complete pipe dream. But you got to go way up there and get him, because I think the Eagles at 10 are definitely a team too. So that's why I say top 10.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not 100% sold that a corner goes in the top 10 this draft. I've seen it, common mock to the Lions at 6. They're definitely in the mix, but it still depends where teams got these guys ranked. But Witherspoon, great in cover, good ball skills, physical as hell. He will come up and smack you in the mouth. That's what I love most about Devin Witherspoon. He would just look so damn good in purple. And he ain't going to get to 23.
Corners always go top 10. They always go earlier than you expect. I mean, 34.9 completion percentage against this guy. He had 14 pass breakups, 3 picks, ball hawk. All right. A name that he's going to get nobody excited for trading up for is Will Levis. So let's just get him off the books. Vikings love him. Clearly they like the guy. Physically gifted. That's all you got to say about Will Levis. Does he put it all together? Who knows? But he's got all the physical ability.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he had a great 2021 season, came back and didn't do so good in 2022. Yeah, and he's got some weird. You're hearing a lot of rumors about how weird this dude is, how he didn't interview well.
Hey, we're like the 2 weirdest people in the world. You can't.
I know that against him. But I mean, that just keeps coming up. And you've seen in multiple sources. He's scared of milk. He puts mayo in his coffee. He eats bananas with the peels on. To me, the only makes me like him more. But he's got plenty of traits to work with here. Big guy, he can take off and run. He's got a strong arm on him. Not always the most accurate. Not always the best decision maker. But maybe he was just trying to do too much last year. So Will Levis, if the Vikings want him, they're likely going to have to go up a few spots to get him.
Yeah, another guy that's all over the place. He's the name that just he could fall, and I don't think anyone would be overly shocked. But again, you're probably gonna have to, if you really want this guy, you're gonna have to go into like top 12 picks to go get him, just to make sure you get him. And I give him credit for playing injured. I mean, that's actually a good thing in my book. I mean, hopefully that's why the numbers were down. He needs to go to a perfect situation like a Kevin O'Connell as a head coach, a quarterbacks guy, a guy that can just mold him into something very, very good. So he would be coming into a good situation. I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I think you have to get ahead of the Titans at 11. I think that, that's probably his floor right now.
All right, speaking of floor, let's talk Quentin Johnson. Lupagus wanted to do Smith and Jigba. So, let's just say these two guys here. I mean, these are two wide receivers. Vikings clearly want to get themselves a wide receiver. And do they have to trade up?
Well, if they want to ensure they get one, they better get up to 11. Because I think 12 Texans is when the first receiver comes out the board, in my opinion, whether that's in Jigba or if it's Quentin Johnson. Not sure. But, and Jigba's the one guy who has been linked to the Vikings that they've had. I know they met with Zay Flowers at one of the combine or East West, or not East West. Yeah, it was East West because he was there. And then you see Jordan Addison, you see Quentin Johnson coming in for top 30 visits. But receiver is one of the Vikings' bigger needs. I mean, getting that number 2 guy, they don't have it now. The depth isn't great. So if you want to make sure you get one of these premier receivers in this draft, and this is a deep receiver draft, but you want the elite guys, you may have to move up to do it.
I think, yeah, and I think if they play their cards right, they can wait for a receiver or two to come off the board because they have talked to a handful of these early guys, and they can be like, oh shit, we actually need to trade up and get one of these guys. So hopefully, I mean, like you said, they've met with a couple of these guys. Hopefully, one of them still sticking around where we get them at 23, if we really want them at 23. I'm not saying I want a wide receiver at 23, but hopefully they have options. They don't have to be like, oh shit, I got to give up the house and go get them.
I think the concern is there could be a run, though. I mean, between 12 and 23, there's plenty of teams that need a wide receiver.
Baltimore just signed Odell Beckham. I think that helps.
Only the 1 year, though, but it definitely helps. But there's still teams, a lot of teams that could go wide receiver there. So it's a kind of a scary area to be in if you want a wide receiver.
All right, final one, Jalen Carter. And the reason he's on the list is this is like one of the Vikings' ginormous needs. I mean, it's their biggest need, and he's the best one.
Yeah, and right now, if you really want to make sure you get him, you probably move up into the top 6, top 7. But if he starts to fall, and you only have to package a couple picks to go up and get this guy, you definitely have to think about it. He's just so damn good. He can take over a game from the interior. Yes, he's got the character concerns. He had the horrible pro day, which is very, very concerning. Just knowing, how much is at stake and then coming that unprepared and that out of shape is a major red flag. But
a lot of red flags, full of them.
You get someone like Brian Flores, barking up his ass, getting after him, making sure he does his job and stays committed. You could have yourself a hell of a player here. So that's why you have to think about it.
Yeah, it's be interesting if he was there at 8, because I think the Bears take him at 9 for sure. So it's like you'd have to get there at 8 to really get him. And if he falls past the Bears, then you're about to watch some dude just continue to fall. But I want nothing to do with it. I don't care if he's there at 10 in trade. I like the biggest thing, the weight thing doesn't bug. I mean, it bugs me, but the biggest thing that bugs me is he refused to meet with anybody out of picking in the top 10. I mean, who's his agent? Does he not realize teams actually would trade up to get him? Like that makes no sense to me. Zero.
Yeah, his whole pre-draft process has been kind of confounding and head scratching and ball scratching. Makes you wonder what the hell's going on in this guy's head. But yeah, maybe he's just getting some bad advice all around too.
Yeah, I don't want to meet with anyone outside top 10. I mean, he's the perfect guy to trade up for. It blows my mind. Let us know. Any of these guys tickle your fancy? Would you want them to trade up? If we didn't say anybody else, that put them in the comments. Maybe Christian Gonzalez, maybe something crazy.
Remember this. Caffeine can stimulate contractions in the colon and intestinal muscles, which is one reason why drinking coffee can make you poop.